History of MACV-SOG tells the stories of those who have fought valiantly to protect the liberty we hold most dear. History of MACV-SOG has preserved and honored the legendary feats of our Studies and Observations Group soldiers. History of MACV-SOG provides military history to soldiers and veterans, their families, and to the public at large. Our mission is to educate, inspire and engage our communities now and for generations to come. Please help. Subscribe. Like and share. Donate. PayPal christensen@ol.com. Venmo at MACV-SOG. Military Assistance Command Vietnam Studies and Observations Group, MACV-SOG, was a highly classified, multi-service United States Special Operations Unit which conducted covert unconventional warfare operations before and during the Vietnam War. Established on 24 January 1964, it conducted strategic reconnaissance missions in the Republic of Vietnam, South Vietnam, the Democratic Republic of Vietnam, North Vietnam, Laos and Cambodia, took enemy prisoners, rescued downed pilots, conducted rescue operations to retrieve prisoners of war throughout Southeast Asia, and conducted clandestine agent team activities and psychological operations. The unit participated in most of the significant campaigns of the Vietnam War, including the Gulf of Tonkin incident which precipitated increased American involvement, Operation Steel Tiger, Operation Tiger Hound, the Tet Offensive, Operation Commando Hunt, the Cambodian Campaign, Operation Lam Son 719, and the Easter Offensive. The unit was downsized and renamed Strategic Technical Directorate Assistance Team 158 on 1 May 1972 to support the transfer of its work to the Strategic Technical Directorate of the Army of the Republic of Vietnam, part of the Vietnamization effort. This is Billye Alexander.
And when it came time for us to get our orders to go to SOG, which we had signed up for, we never got anything for a week. I said, how long did we wait here and hide from people who want to put us on duty somewhere? And I was talking to DeLuca, and it must have been we were eating somewhere, because he says, well, call Mrs. A, and he put her number on an envelope, napkin. And he says, just call Mrs. A in the Pentagon. She'll get you squared away. And Special Forces, especially SOG in particular, but Special Forces is like James Bond in the Secret Service. They have M for Mrs. Moneypenny. They have Q, who invents all this stuff, and you have the man in charge. I forgot what his letter is, but anyway, he says call Mrs. A, and that was Mrs. Moneypenny's counterpart. And I said to him, I says, my first image was this old lady with a cat in her lap and knitting, and Mrs. Moneypenny old, and I said, is she old? And he said, no, blonde and a good looker. And so I called her, and she said, do you really want to go? And I said, yeah, we're waiting for orders. She says, I'll get on it. And so not being patient, I called her the next day, and she says, I'm working on it, Dale. And then I called her the third day, and she recognized my voice, and she says, you're ready. I got your orders, and you're ready to go. And so I got the orders for all of our graduating class, and we got a delay en route and headed off to Vietnam.
Ms. Alexander, some guys told me that they actually would go to the Pentagon, and guys would say, bring her this type of wine and these flowers.
Yeah.
And then other people, I was talking with another person, he said he called Mrs. A and said, I want to go to SOG. And she goes, shh, don't say that over the phone.
Yeah.
And it seems like just about everyone spoke with Mrs. A.
Yes.
They got into SOG somehow or another, or want to go back. Some guys would be, come back to the States, and garrison duty was just bad, and they were used to the freedom in SOG and doing what they normally do. And they said, no, I'm out of here. And they could call Mrs. A and, okay, orders back on SOG.
Yeah.
In the early 1960s, Mrs. Alexander, who worked in the Office of Personnel Operations at the Pentagon, became the person responsible for writing transfer orders for Special Forces soldiers in accordance with directives from the Army. Before and during the Vietnam War, Mrs. A was the unofficial Special Forces guardian angel, working deep in the bowels of the Pentagon Personnel Office. Raymond D. Harris. Although I had put in requests for transfer to Vietnam, they had been denied at the local level. This lady's name was Billye Alexander. Nobody got past Billye Alexander. She owned transfers. About 5 or 6 of us took my old Corvair and drove over to the Pentagon and were able to find her. We all requested to go to Vietnam so she could cut through these denials back at Fort Bragg.
So somehow I had got Ms. Alexander's number. I called her, said I wanted to go to Vietnam. She said, go tell your sergeant major you have orders on the way, and I said for you to start clearing posts. So that's what I did, and that's what I did. He wasn't happy about it, but that's what I did.
Bill Parner. After graduation from Special Forces Medics training in December 1967, I volunteered for Vietnam and an assignment with MACV-SOG. None of our medics class graduates initially received orders for Vietnam, so I went to the Pentagon and sought out Mrs. Billye Alexander to get on the manifest to go to Vietnam. When she announced there were openings on the manifest for SOG in April of 1968, I asked to be put on the manifest for that. Marwaskovich. I really wanted to join Special Forces and had heard of a Mrs. Alexander who handled Special Forces assignments at the Pentagon. I called her for a couple of weeks unsuccessfully and finally sent her a dozen roses. The next time I called, she told me that I must really want Special Forces badly and to stop calling me. I will get your orders out. This is Billye Alexander. MACV-SOG's guardian angel.